A very good morning to you. How are you doing? Welcome to the Relationship Clinic on Jam 316, right here on Family TV and Family Radio 316. Every Thursday we talk about relationships. Bench nimeweka nje. Like I told you, nime extend. It's longer now because of social distancing. We've sanitized it, and we are ready to have an interesting conversation on the Relationship Clinic today. They're not part of the family, but still they're part of the family. Sometimes they live in our homes, and we've had quite a number of issues and cases sometimes where you find that the house manager, the house girl, something has happened between the house girl and Mr. Husband. You know, I can never forget one time hosting a lady who was sharing her testimony how her husband left her for the house girl. As in, left her for the house girl. And I'm thinking, wow. So, what measures do you need to put in place to protect her and to protect your marriage? What are some do's and some don'ts? What are some no-go zones? How are you managing in your home? Those are some of the things we want to talk about today on the Relationship Clinic. Boundaries where the house girl is concerned. And I'm inviting you to be a part of this conversation. If you have questions, or maybe you have something you need to share, something that is working for you, or lessons you learned through mistakes, we are here to talk about it, to help one another. Bible tells us iron sharpens iron. And so as we share our experiences and as we share our knowledge, we are able to sharpen one another. It is the Relationship Clinic. Today we talk about the house girl. We talk about the house girl. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. What boundaries need to be put in place? And so I'm inviting you to be a part of this conversation. In studio with me today, Elsie Mwangi, who is passionate about families and passionate about marriages. She is a family and marriage therapist. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you
we
for
appreciate
having me.
You. House girls.
Yes.
This sometimes is a serious issue. Maybe let's begin by asking, before a couple brings on board a house girl, or whether it's a house boy, house manager, whatever you want to call them, into their space, are there some things they need to consider?
There are a lot of things that they need to consider. And most importantly, it is very key for the couple to understand the family cycle.
Oh, okay.
And the family cycle is about the stages that we go through. Of course, before we get married, there is that dating part.
Yes.
Then we get married, there is that space when we don't have children. What tasks are there for us? Then the children come in. What do we need to do? We need to be flexible enough, because at a certain point we will need a helper.
Yeah.
So who will this helper be? How will this helper be? What expectations do we have? What roles will we give to the helper?
Okay.
What will be the boundaries? Because even when we bring in a helper, the helper is coming into a family with a structure. So how is that structure? How do we allow the helper to blend into our family? Up to what point? Yeah.
And that needs to be clear to both the helper and to yourself.
Very clear. Yeah.
Okay. What would you say about couples who get married and even before they get a child, they're bringing on board a house help?
It depends on so many things. Because we are also different in every way.
Yeah.
There are those of us who have been socialized to do things on their own. For example, for me, even when I have a house girl, I would want to do a few things like cooking, cleaning when I'm available.
Yes.
There are others who believe or were socialized that when we have a house help, it is the house help to do everything.
Yeah.
So if I grew up in such a family, I know a family should have a helper. So it is for me to kind of hand over everything to the helper. To do everything for me, clean, almost everything.
Yeah.
So for me, it's me and my husband nicely seated waiting for things to be done for us. Yeah.
I'm just wondering if you bring on board a house help in the initial stages of your marriage, doesn't it affect because you're newly married, you're still in the process of getting to know one another now that you are starting to live together. You know, I remember a friend of mine sharing how from day one when they came from their honeymoon, they were always living with somebody, a relative, then house girl, then more relatives, you know, and she said it was just, she didn't like it, but it's almost like she didn't have a say in the issue because the husband had decided we're always going to help our relatives and stuff like that. And it ended up affecting their marriage. I don't know what you would say to that.
Okay. I note that you have said that she said she didn't have a say.
It's almost like she didn't have a say, yes.
That brings out ineffective communication. Because everything that happens within the family needs to be discussed and agreed upon. And if my way of thinking is not taken 100%, or the other person's way of thinking is not taken 100%, at least we can do 50-50 or 70-30. That way I'll feel I am part of this in some way. But now when I feel like this happens because he has said, I'll feel like I don't belong here. And that is an indicator of lack of boundaries. Because when I feel uncomfortable about something that is happening, there is a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. When a couple decides to bring on a helper in the home, should they decide who's the authority in terms of where this house help is concerned? Should they have one person who is the authority and the voice? Anything to do with the house help, you are the last person. We will discuss our issues in our chambers, but now in terms of dealing with this person as an individual, you are the one responsible. Is that important?
It is very important, but it depends. Because families are very interesting.
Yes.
No family is like any other. We talked, when we were beginning, we talked about the family structure.
Yeah.
Who are the members of this family? How are they organized? What is their patterning? How do they interact? So for us to start discussing about who will be the one dealing with the house help, we need to first understand what are the tasks
that the house help is coming to do.
Yes.
Okay.
Who needs help?
That's a good one. That's a good one. Yes.
Yeah, who needs help? Because when it comes to laundry, when it comes to cooking, cleaning the house, that is not a man's job.
No.
So I am the one who needs help. So when I am the one who needs help, I wonder how the man would come in and tell the house girl, I need that room cleaned. Well, he may need the house cleaned or the room cleaned, but it is me who is the head of that department.
Yes. HOD.
Depending on how our family has been structured. Because it is not always that the man is the head of the home.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Yes.
In what way?
The family structure and patterning and organization of the family. There are families where even the parents are not the head of the home.
I'm waiting for an explanation.
Yeah. There are families that are run by maybe the one who is well endowed in terms of the pockets.
I get what you're saying.
So when the one who has the money comes in, everyone calls back, including the man.
Because they call the shots.
Of course. So whoever calls the shots is the head of the home. Yes, and that is why I said it is not always that the man is the head of the home. But these are stories that are not discussed out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's the ideal, but then kwa ground vitu ni different.
Kwa ground vitu ni different.
Wow. Okay, so we are bringing on a house girl. Let's talk about some important and critical things that we need to agree on before she comes on board. Because, you know, even just back to the question I had asked, if you've not agreed on who the authority is, even the house girl will get confused, or the houseboy will get confused, because you can't have two centers of power. So what are some critical things you think a couple needs to agree on, 1, 2, 3, before this person comes on board, so that when they come on board, then they're able to flourish in their work and we are also comfortable?
First of all, as I said, as a couple, we need to know who are we in this relationship.
Yes.
And by knowing who we are is about our boundaries, because boundaries define us. What is for us and what is not for us. So that when the house girl comes and finds a certain structure, and the structure will be clearly explained to them, they will know beyond this wall is not for this family. Beyond this other wall is not for this family. So whatever I do should be within the framework of this family. So back to the couple. When we are deciding if we need a helper, we should discuss what are the tasks. That way we will be able to know, depending on the tasks, who is the head of that department. Such that even back to creation, the woman is the helper. So being the helper, I am like the operations manager in that home. So there are so many nitty-gritties that the man doesn't know. Which then means I have a lot of the details about that family and the home that I will be able to discuss with the house girl. In fact, when I look at our way of operation, the man and the woman, we operate very differently. Because let's take, for example, when building a home, the man will think about the structure, the walls, the windows, and everything. But for me, I'll be thinking about the curtain. Where will I put the seat? How will the kitchen be? Hizo vitu zote haziko kwa kichwa ya mwanaume. So those details are the ones that make the woman's work heavier. The details. Because for me as the woman, I would want my family to have a nicely done dinner. The man will look at the dish, the spoons, the plates. But how these things have been set, I'll have to have given the instructions. What I want done, how I want it done, by what time, those small things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Wangoi from South Sea, Wangoi, you're always a blessing. Wangoi ananiambia, the term is house help or house manager, not house girl. Sawa, nimekusikiza. Wangoi from South Sea, thank you for your SMS. By the way, we're inviting your questions into this discussion on 20316 and WhatsApp on 0786316316. Maybe you're TD'd and you're a house help and you also have challenges you're experiencing where you're working. Feel free also to share your side of the story and ask your questions, because I believe that is very, very, very important. You know, I've had cases where it's almost like when the husband needs something, they go directly to the house help. And the wife doesn't see that as an issue. So you find that there's more interaction when it comes to certain needs that the man has within the home. You know, where are my clean socks? Ask the house help. I need a cup of tea. Ask the house help. Is that a recipe for disaster? Where it seems like everything in the home is now the house help. Yeah. If you talk to the house help, kwani ni mimi niliosha nguo zako? Siulize msichana wa nyumba, yeye ndiyo aliosha. She knows where she's kept them. So it's almost like it's a situation where everything the husband needs within the home, it is the house help that does this for him. Is that a recipe for disaster?
Yes. And also back to the couple. The family having its own structure is a system. And a system has subsystems. And every subsystem is governed by rules, roles, and responsibilities. So for us, as husband and wife, what are our rules? What are our roles? And what are our responsibilities? So for me as a wife, what are my roles? And my roles would be making sure that everything for the man is kept where it should be, how it should be, in a way that when he needs it and I'm not around, he knows where it is.
He can access it.
So for the man to maybe to ask for everything from the girl, there is a disconnect somewhere.
Yeah.
Because these things should be ideally in our bedroom. Even when it is the house girl who did the laundry, it is for me to go collect those things and set them. Such that when he needs something, he knows where to get it.
Yeah.
So if he goes and finds it is not there, ideally, these days we have mobile phones. Where is my XYZ? Because sometimes I may not have had the time to go collect those things and put them where he's used to having them.
Yes.
So if he's used to having his socks in a drawer, today they are on the seat in the bedroom. It is, where are my socks?
Yes.
In the seat next to the bed. And that way, if I am not really sure about the interaction between the husband and the house help, I will have cut that link.
Yeah. Okay. Steve, Momo, and Lisa Otieno listening from Mohoroni. You say, we are loving the show. We are newly married and we are actually gathering a lot of information. Your discussion is pretty informative. Keep up the good work and say hi to the visitor. Visitor, hi.
Hi.
I've said hi to the visitor. Questions 20316, WhatsApp 0786 316 316. Maybe there are some challenges that you're having in your marriage because of the house help. We are here to talk about it. We are here to find solutions. I have a question here from Wangoi. Wangoi is asking, should the house help be allowed to clean the master bedroom or is it out of bounds?
That is a question that is, it doesn't have a definite answer.
Okay.
Again, the rules and the demarcations that are to be set for the house girl are dependent on the family itself and the couple.
Okay.
And again, we said, when we are discussing about having a helper, who needs help? Whose role is it to clean the bedroom? The bedroom is for the husband and the wife.
Yeah.
If there was no helper, whose role is it? It is for the woman to clean the bedroom. So, under what circumstances would I need a helper to clean my bedroom? So if I am at home, let's say once a week,
yes,
why don't I create time to clean the bedroom, arrange and rearrange and set it the way I would want it? Because if we say it is out of bounds, there comes a time when things are no longer the same.
Yeah.
How flexible am I to pick the new normal in case it comes? I may be ill in a way that I may not be able to clean the bedroom.
Yeah.
Or the husband may be ill and needs care, and sometimes I am not there. I need to go out shopping, maybe working to maintain and take care of the family.
Yeah.
So if it is out of bounds, what happens in such a case?
Yes.
Again, if we have a small baby and I have reported back to work, do I start shifting the baby from the bedroom at 5:30 a.m. to the nanny's bedroom? So there are so many things to consider, but again, the decision lies with the couple. And most importantly, the wife. Because most of the roles that the house manager, the house girl, or the helper, whatever you call them, most of the roles are for the lady.
There's somebody who's challenging this thought, this trail of thought. They say, I believe roles have changed. The woman's role as a cleaner and cook, etc., was when the man used to go out and provide, and the woman was left at home as a nurturer. But roles changed when the woman also went out to work and provide. Why should a woman's role then be that of taking care of the husband, and yet we do similar roles? I believe he should know where his shirt, socks, etc. are and can get them for himself. The house manager comes in to do those other roles like cooking, cleaning, etc. A woman was created as a helper, and if she's helping in also providing for the family, then she should be regarded to do those. She should be relegated to do those other chores. Boys should be taught to do their chores in the house and not leave it to the woman to attend to them. Yes.
It is a very valid thought and very true. And when we are looking at family functions, we look also at flexibility. She's talking about today's woman being part of the contribution in managing the home.
Yes.
It is possible to find that both are working, or it is the lady who is working.
Yeah.
So what happens in such a situation? Back to the couple.
Back to where we began.
Yes. We sit down and discuss. If it is the man, okay, I am not working from maybe yesterday. I don't know for how long. So how do we go about this? Because women issues are tricky.
Yes.
A man can maintain a family for years and not complain. But a woman, 2-3 months down the line, amka ukatafuta job.
Yes. Very true.
Yeah.
Very
so
true.
It depends on how you relate with each other, because things will change. They will keep changing. As we were starting, we said there is a family cycle. First we were dating, we got married. There was a time we didn't have children. Children started coming. So at a certain time, we had an infant, then a toddler, Ivo, teenager, young adults, then an adult. So we need to keep changing with these things. Even when the house manager comes in, let us have a way of handling the children at their age appropriate bringing up, so to say.
Okay.
Because when you came in and handled a toddler, when they get into teenage, if the house manager is lucky to still be the same handling this child, the rules change. The same way, within the family setting, when I get married and find my husband is working, and I'm also working, things seem to flow. But if one of us loses the job and we don't sit down to discuss, we will start poking each other's eyes.
Yes.
Because if, as the wife, I was the one paying the helper or the manager, at some point I'll not be able to pay. So if we didn't discuss at that time, at what point will I go to him and say, nipatie pesa ya msichana wa kazi? It has not been in his budget. So
that's true.
We need to prepare each other and be flexible enough and know things come. How will we shift to the next situation?
Okay. Listen to this one. Good morning. What do those of us who cannot cook to save our own lives, and the man notices that the meals are tastier since the house manager joined the home and starts to gravitate towards her? Should I compete with her and learn to cook better, or have a serious conversation with my husband about the boundaries that need to be put in place?
That's an interesting
They
one.
say the way to a man's heart
is through the stomach. So now
ameleta mpishi.
it is very interesting.
Yes.
But now if I realize that he's finding the helper's food tastier than mine, and I don't know how to cook, if I realize there is a problem, do I just sit back or look for ways of doing the same thing if I feel insecure? Because the truth is, the helper's food is tastier than mine.
Yeah, that's
so
the
what?
truth.
And if we cook the same time with the house help, he will eat her food and leave mine. And that is the truth, because no one will take tasteless food when there is tastier food next to this tasteless one. So it is for me, if I feel quote unquote jealous, work hard to cook tastier food. Because even when we sit down and discuss, he will still remain with that thought at the back of the mind, huyu hajui kupika.
Yeah.
But there are men also who train their wives to cook.
Yeah. You know, I had a lady I was interviewing here, and she's also a marriage counselor. And she was saying when she got married, she didn't know how to cook to save her life. She had no idea. And so she realized anytime they would visit her mother-in-law, her husband would really eat. Like, seriously. And so what she did is she started going to her mother-in-law's place every other week for cooking lessons. Well, she sat down with her mom and she says, I've realized when I come here with your son, he really eats. He likes your cooking. I want to learn how to cook like you.
Exactly.
So next Saturday I'm coming. Tell me the ingredients to buy. I'll come with the ingredients. And she would spend the whole Saturday with her mother-in-law.
Hugs to that lady.
Learning how to cook. Now, hey, no one can compete with her. Yeah.
When you notice there is a problem somewhere, don't just sit and watch. Do whatever it takes to resolve it.
Yes.
Because at one point, if you don't take initiative, if the man loves food, it is true you don't know how to cook. He will cling to the one who knows how to cook.
Yeah.
And that is how men operate. Even as women, ukiwekewa chakula hapa ile tamu na ingine si tamu, utachukua gani? It is normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. This one seems like a serious one. I have a question. Is it right for the husband to communicate with a house help who is no longer working for us? That one is a serious one. Yes.
Now,
what are they talking about?
Right or wrong
yes.
is subjective.
Okay.
But again, I would also ask the same question. Because this house help came and the contract ended. So what is this other thing that is being discussed out there? Back to communication.
Exactly.
Because if I feel it is not right, I should take the initiative and sit with him and, okay, Baba Nani, I noticed this is happening. What could be happening? But unfortunately, such discussions are a no-go zone. Because if there is something hidden in the discussion, the man will shoot up there. Na hutaongea kupita hapo. So you, as the lady, you will keep poking.
Yes.
Going to the phone. Did he call her today? What are the messages? And the fights keep piling. Then at some point, everything blows out of proportion and now physical fights start.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I have a question on behalf of the house help, so I'll be asking it to you in the next short while. If you have questions for us, 20316 SMS line, WhatsApp number 0786 316 316. You only have like 20 minutes to ask questions, so don't wait until 5-2 and then you give me like 69 questions. No, ask them all now so that we can have enough time to at least look at them and give some answers. Once again, 20316 is SMS, WhatsApp is 0786 316 316. It's the Relationship Clinic on Jam 316. We are talking about house help boundaries. I have an interesting comment here. This is from my namesake James. James says, good morning, Pastor James. Good discussion you're having there. Good advice as well. I never get involved in anything to do with the house manager. All decisions, recruitment, firing, orders in the house, payment, never. My wife has always been a housewife, but has a helper. At least she collects some rent from somewhere and can manage her issues. I never bother her. If I need something, even if the house help is there and my wife is not, I'd better stay without. Getting comfortable with the house help is a disaster in the waiting. That is a wise counsel from my namesake James.
And coming from a man's mouth.
Yes. Getting comfortable with the house help or disaster in the waiting. Yes.
A disaster in the waiting, however long it may take.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen to this one on the whole issue of roles. It says that what is there is that most of these systems in the marriage have been set by God in His Word. So when someone begins to act as if the Word of God should change or the standards of God should change, then that's sad. Let's not act like roles have changed, blah, blah, blah. It's no excuse for a wife or a husband to evade their duties. Generations change. Roles may change, but let's keep the standards of God. He can't change His standards.
Back to what we were saying, flexibility.
I had a question on behalf of the house managers. What does a house manager do when she comes to the realization that the man of the house is making moves on her? She needs the job. You know, she ambie mama wa nyumba. And if you tell mami, will the blame now come on me? Should I talk to the man of the house? Or should I just quit my job and disappear? What do I do?
Now, we had a discussion on the side with you about communication.
Yes.
Being a facilitative skill. How are the channels of communication within that family? Because if such a thing happens, and the channels of communication between the house help and the lady of the home are blocked, she will not be in a position to express herself.
Yeah.
But if the communication is efficient and effective, and she knows that this is what is happening, it is true, I am not lying, and the channels are open, she will be confident enough to sit down with the lady na amwambie, mama watoto, this is what has been happening in a nice way. And having the channels of communication open is not something that just happens. Let's say the lady, the house help has been there for like 2 years.
Yes.
2 years is enough time to have studied. This is what is happening. I need to present it to the lady of the house. How, when, where. Yes.
Is that news the lady of the house can never take positively?
It also depends on how self-aware one is. Because even when we are taking in these house helps, we need to really understand who we are. What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? And what are the risks? So if I have trust issues, if I feel insecure with this man, and then this girl comes and mentions, your story hata haitaisha. Go back and leave.
Yes,
yeah. But then if I understand who I am and I know my vulnerabilities and weaknesses, I will be able to listen to this girl.
And you know your husband.
Yes. In fact, for a couple, it is very important. Not only knowing. Knowing is just on the surface. Understand who this person is. And you can never understand the other person before you understand yourself. Yeah.
Okay. That's a deep one. You start with you.
Of course, self-awareness is key. Because I may not have issues with him. But when the girl comes and tells me something as an indicator of something that is going to happen in that home, in a way that I may lose him, and I may be those people who are clingy.
Yes.
And I fear being abandoned, huyu msichana nitafukuza. Na kumfukuza, it will not be that I am dealing with the issue. I am dealing with myself unknowingly.
Wow. How do you deal with a house help who wears really short things? And she knows it. And she seems to be comfortable with that. She wears them in front of teenage kids and even the husband. But she really does her job well.
Question. The first day that you brought in this house manager, did you sit down and expressed your expectations and listened to us? Because dress code should be discussed as you discuss the contract, not within the process. It should be at the contracting stage, so to say. So you are coming in. This is the family structure. These are the rules. These are the roles. These are the responsibilities. This is the dress code. So if you didn't express yourself in such a manner that you said, okay, hapa hakuna nguo za slit ya aina hii, no short dresses, no tight dresses, no tight trousers, and then you find her wearing you will be late in your communication. And that is why when we were beginning, we said it is us as the couple, before we bring in a helper, what are we asking for? What are we looking for?
Yes.
What roles are we giving out? What do we expect? Lakini sio kuingia tu like you are getting into a swimming pool.
Yeah. Wow. You know, when I think back, when I was growing up, I think we had a house manager for close to 10 years. Same one. I mean, and she stayed. It was very common back in the day to have a house manager, and by the time she's leaving to get married.
Yeah,
it was very common.
To me too.
You know, I remember a pastor friend of mine, they had this house manager for such a long time. Even the day she got married, she was picked from the pastor's house. Because to her, because they got her, I think when she was about 19, to her, this pastor was like her dad. And so to honor him, she was picked from his house. But today, it seems like if you stay with the house manager for 2 years, you're doing well. Is it that life has changed so much, or is it that a lot of issues are now coming up?
There are so many things that we tend to ignore. And one of them is self-awareness.
Okay.
Because at times, you may have a crazy day at work. Then you find the house help has not picked a cup from the table. And you get mad. So now, you see, you are not handling the issue of the house girl and the cup.
Yeah.
You are dealing with your issues.
You're dealing with your issues.
So, back to self-awareness.
Yes.
And self-awareness has a lot to do with, this is what I am feeling. Get in touch with your immediate feelings. This is what I'm feeling. Where could it have come from?
Yeah.
And this is what is happening now around me. Is my behavior towards what is happening now related to what happened before I came here? Separate issues.
Yes.
Yeah. Because house helps are taking in a lot that they don't deserve.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wow. I'm looking at my clock and I'm thinking, where did the time go? Maybe we could have answer one more question. It's related to the whole dressing thing. And I think we had discussed this earlier. And I have an idea of what you're going to say. Is it okay to have a house help wear a uniform while on duty? Or is it a colonial practice that might make kids look down on her?
It could be right, it could be wrong. But again, it is important to know, as much as you are the boss, don't be a dictator. Remember, this house help is a human being.
Yes.
Before you now start thinking about other things about the house help, think about her as a human being. There is nothing you yourself did to God for you to have your own kids in there, not being house helps in other people's homes. So treat this girl nicely.
Yes.
If you are to have a rule that the house help needs to be in uniform, let it be decent, smart, na si moja ati anafua usiku anavaa kesho. Give a variety such that she'll feel, okay, I am in uniform, but I am comfortable.
Exactly.
It is possible to keep the house girl happy within your home.
Very true.
Very possible.
Very true.
Yeah.
Wow. Parting shot as we finish because we're out of time. Yes. What would your parting shot be to us?
Parting shot. House girls, house helps, house managers, whatever you call them, they are key players in our home. So once you bring one in the home, create an environment, a climate for them to operate freely, explain the demarcations, and keep monitoring. And when things go wrong, don't just blow things out of proportion. Try to understand, okay, this happened. Where could it have come from?
Yes.
Could I have contributed to what happened? And again, it is important to build and maintain boundaries. Build and maintain. And one of the things you can do is to name your limits. For example, I was thinking about those people who live in the slums. my door is here, the next neighbor's door is here. So it is possible for my child to place a cap beyond our wall. So have you told your house girl, our caps are blue, theirs are white. But then you tell them all caps should be in the cabinet. Atachukua mpaka za neighbor. Hujamwambia zenu zimefika wapi?
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
So name your limits. Then get in touch with your feelings. We talked about that. Separate issues.
Yeah.
Leave what does not belong to your home out of your home. Like we do in the post office. When you go and find a letter that is not addressed to you, just leave it there. And write RTS or just leave it. They'll know what to do with it.
Yes.
Then be direct. Also give yourself permission. Don't feel guilty about setting your own boundaries. Then practice self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
Know who you are. How you became who you are, such that you don't project old issues to people who are not even related to you. Don't bleed on people who did not hurt you. Then like consider your past and your present.
Yes.
Like we were saying, your crazy day at work should not be put on your house girl.
Yeah.
And again, making too much unnecessary noise to your house girl, and tomorrow you leave them with your most precious property, your children.
I'm telling you.
It doesn't sound nice.
Wow.
Then make yourself a priority.
Yes.
Seek support. If you are in a crisis about handling her, seek support. But then we have a problem as women. Mwanamke ni kunyamaza. Unakaa na mashida zako mpaka the stories that you will hear after firing the house help won't be of help.
Okay.
Then be assertive.
Wow.
Bottom line, this house help is someone's son, is someone's daughter. Take care of them.
Thank you so much, Elsie, for coming through for us. I think my friend Timothy Wauba sums it up well. He says, thank you for an educative topic. For me, I prefer from day one. You give the boundaries and allow the house manager to be among the family. Yes, this is how we live in this house. This is what we expect of you. This one don't touch, this one do this one. And you be assertive and keep following up, just like you said.
Exactly.
I hope our conversation has been beneficial to you. We are out of time for today. Thank you for being a part of it. Keep listening to Family Radio 316 and keep watching Family TV.
For this and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs, from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.